Hello, this is podcaster Mike Hayes with my AI co-hosts to bring you AI Audibles about AI and the future of you and me and all of us together in the connected digital age. This is quantum reach networking using the quantum reach code for networking with Ryan Reynolds AI direct response TV strategies from his Mountain Agency partners. So we named him Media Man of the Year on TV Shopping Magazine. So you know this is going to be a fun ride. So let's get started right now with my two AI co-hosts. Welcome.
Today we're diving into a really fascinating system. It connects something very internal, your mindset, directly to your external results, specifically in marketing and networking.
Yeah, and it's built on a pretty radical core idea, isn't it? That your internal state, how you feel, is actually your most powerful broadcasting tool.
Exactly. Especially now, this age of AI and constant connection. So the big question we're exploring today, really for you listening, is how do you become the person you've been waiting for? Not some far-off future version, but the person you need to be right now to get what you want.
And our guide for digging into this is Mike Hayes. Now, Mike has this incredible background. He's a two-time Peabody Award-winning researcher, a documentarian from his time at NBC TV and radio networks in New York.
Wow, Peabody winner.
Yeah, serious credentials. And he spent years studying the absolute masters of communication. Think Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, people like that. He was trying to decode this underlying system they all seem to use, maybe intuitively, maybe consciously.
Okay, so a deep dive into communication from someone who really knows the craft. What was the big takeaway? What did he find?
Well, his core belief, the foundation of everything, is pretty profound. Communication is life. And he argues that today, with AI changing everything, information overload. Effective communication isn't just nice to have, it's essential for survival, for growth.
Makes sense.
But here's the twist, the really interesting part. He says the key isn't some complicated new marketing strategy, the latest trend.
Right. Not another algorithm to chase.
Exactly. Instead, it's way deeper. It's this personal principle he outlines in his Networker notebook. Something fundamental.
Okay, let's unpack this then. You're telling me the secret to business growth and communication now isn't more tech or bigger budgets, but something personal, internal.
That's the claim. It's definitely bold. And to really get it, we have to go back, way back, decades before the internet, even before TV as we know it.
Hey guys, let me jump in. This is podcaster Mike with an AI Audible, and I just want to let our listeners know immediately that while we're going to go into the mindset shortly, then we're going to return and talk about the incredible current state of media with Ryan Reynolds, AIDRTV strategies from his Mountain Connected Media Agency. So it's going to be both the mindset first, and then we're going to return and talk more about the man, Ryan Reynolds. It's going to be super fun. He's being called the Steve Jobs of media today.
Absolutely. Thanks for that AI Audible, Mike. It's a perfect clarification for our listeners.
Yeah, that's great context. It's important to know we're not just staying in the theoretical.
Exactly. We'll lay the groundwork with this powerful mindset, then definitely connect it to the cutting-edge strategies, especially with someone like Ryan Reynolds.
The Steve Jobs of media, I like that. We'll definitely dive into his work with MNTN and AIDRTV.
So to reiterate for everyone, we're building up the foundational principles first.
Right, the internal work. Because as Mike Hayes emphasizes, that's the whole game.
And then we bridge that to the external application, the practical tools, and the modern media landscape.
Which includes what Ryan Reynolds is doing with AIDRTV. It's a powerful combination.
So picking up where we left off, Hayes traced this core idea back to a 20th century mystic, a philosopher named Neville Goddard.
The law of assumption. Okay, that sounds significant. Less like marketing jargon, more like a fundamental law. What is it? Define that for us.
Sure. So the law of assumption basically states that whatever you assume to be true, and this is key, you have to really feel it, live inside that conviction.
Feel it, okay.
Then it has absolutely no choice but to become your reality. It's radical. It says your consciousness, that's the only reality. The world outside is just a mirror reflecting your deepest assumptions back at you.
Wow. Okay, hold on. Consciousness is the only reality.
That's the premise. And critically, the sources really stress this. It's not about wishing. It's not about trying harder, putting in more effort in the traditional sense.
Right, not just positive thinking.
No. As Goddard put it, and Hayes echoes this, Your life bends to your assumptions, not your hosts, not your efforts, your assumptions. It's presented as like a creative law, not just a hopeful idea.
That is a really different way of looking at things, saying our inner world literally dictates the outer world. But, for people who've spent ages trying hard, working towards goals.
It's not about zero effort, but shifting the type of effort. You stop working towards the goal because towards implies separation, right? It implies lack.
Okay.
Instead, you start assuming you already have it. You embody that reality now. So rather than hoping for wealth and grinding away for it,
Right.
you deliberately assume the feeling of already being wealthy. You literally live from the end, not for it. Hayes suggests that huge gap we often feel between wanting something and getting it. That might just be an illusion we create by constantly assuming lack.
An illusion we create. Wow.
Yeah, so it's not about getting something new, fundamentally. It's a fundamental shift in who you are, becoming the person for whom your desires are just normal, natural, like breathing. That internal shift, that's the whole game.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. So this isn't just passive daydreaming. It sounds way more active, like an internal creation process.
Exactly. Far from passive. It's described as a creative law, almost like gravity. It's supposedly always working, whether you're paying attention or not. And why isn't everyone living their dream? Well, often, the theory goes, it's because people are unconsciously assuming the opposite, or assuming difficulty, or just not directing their imagination purposefully.
So the imagination isn't just for fun.
According to this view, no. It is the creative power of the universe, basically working through you. What you consistently build in your imagination, consciously or not, becomes the actual blueprint for your life. It's kind of a big responsibility, right? Not just wishful thinking.
That theory is incredibly compelling, a real potential paradigm shift. But okay, how do we actually do it? Our listeners want practical steps. Let's get into the technique.
Absolutely. And Neville Goddard, who Hayes studied so closely, offered a surprisingly simple but powerful 3-step technique. Very actionable.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, step 1, create a short mental movie, not long, just a few seconds, a tiny scene representing the moment after your goal is achieved.
After, okay.
Yeah, so if you want that new car, don't picture buying it. Picture maybe the feeling of your hands on the wheel or seeing it in your driveway, just a sensory snapshot.
Got it. Short and sensory. Step 2.
Step 2. Focus on the feeling. This is crucial and often missed. It's not like jumping up and down lottery-winning excitement. That often comes from shock, from sudden gain.
Right.
Instead, it's the deep, quiet, settled satisfaction, the knowing that it's already yours. Think about how you feel knowing the sun will rise tomorrow. That kind of calm certainty, it's a subtle, peaceful feeling. It is done.
The quiet knowing, not the loud celebration. Okay. And the third step?
Step 3. Repeat. You replay that short, felt scene over and over, especially as you're falling asleep or waking up. You repeat it until it starts to feel more real, more familiar, more true than your current reality, than what your 5 senses are telling you. That repetition impresses it onto the subconscious.
Okay, mental movie, focus on the quiet feeling, repeat until it feels real. That's clear. To really nail this down, though, you mentioned Hayes studied Goddard. There's a specific story about Goddard himself using this, right, under pretty tough circumstances.
Yes, it's a classic example, really illustrates the principle. It's the 1930s, middle of the Great Depression. Neville's stuck in New York, no job, no money, but he desperately wants to go home to Barbados to see his family.
Okay, expensive trip. Seems impossible.
Totally beyond his means at the time. So what does he do? He doesn't brainstorm ways to make money. He doesn't fret about the how. He goes straight to the end.
The end result.
Exactly. Every night as he's drifting off to sleep, that receptive state, right? He imagines he's already in Barbados. He feels himself in his bed, in his family's house. He smells the sea air. He falls asleep in Barbados, in his mind, night after night.
Just living it internally, despite his physical reality in New York. So, what happened? Did a steamship ticket just fall out of the sky?
Pretty much. Just like the law of assumption suggests, the external world started to shift. His brother, who was back in Barbados and supposedly had no idea Neville was doing this nightly practice, suddenly gets a strong urge. He writes to Neville, sends him $50, which was a decent chunk of change then, and includes a prepaid steamship ticket. Just like that.
Wow. No logical explanation, just the means appear.
The exact means appeared. It's a really powerful story showing how that internal, deeply felt assumption seemed to just organize the external circumstances, even when the how was totally unclear.
That story about the steamship ticket, it's powerful. Really shows the principle. But, for listeners today, living in this whirlwind of AI, digital branding, social media, everything moving so fast, the 1930s can feel like another planet.
Sure, I get that.
So the big question is, how do we bridge that gap? How does that core principle, your interstate shaping reality, actually translate into something useful in the modern business world? How does internal conviction become, say, more clients, better networking, a stronger brand online? Especially when everyone's bombarded with messages. What's the mechanism there?
And you've absolutely nailed the core challenge Mike Hayes tackled. He asked exactly that. Okay, this internal creative law is powerful, but how do you use it to broadcast a message, build a brand, grow a business in this digital age?
Right.
His answer, the bridge between Goddard's timeless principles and today's world, and connecting back to what our listener reminded us of with Ryan Reynolds, is what he termed quantum reach networking.
Quantum reach networking. Okay, that quantum word always catches my ear. What does he mean by it here? You said earlier it's not literal physics.
Right, not quantum physics exactly.
Yeah, hey guys, it's podcaster Mike Hayes again. The reason I went back to the 1930s and Neville Goddard, it's about the mindset. We can build the bridge, we can build the escalator, but if we can't get people to take that first step onto the bridge and overcome the imposter syndrome and understand that what they assume about themselves is their reality, how they can immediately change it and become the person they are waiting to be right now, starting today. Now, let's go back to talking about the bridge, but we've got to get them on it to take that first step, and that's why we're here. That's why we're talking about it. But let's move forward into the present and the future.
Mike, that's such a crucial point. Thank you for jumping in with that.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Mike. You've hit on the essence.
You're absolutely right. The bridge, the tools, the technology like AIDRTV, they're only effective if we first get people to believe in their own power.
And to step onto that bridge, as you said, to overcome that initial hurdle of imposter syndrome.
Because that feeling of I'm not good enough or I can't do this is at its core an assumption. And it's one that people unknowingly make their reality.
So the deep dive into the law of assumption, it's really about giving our listeners the courage and the method to shift that internal assumption first.
Exactly. To understand that their assumed reality right now is actually immutable. They can consciously change it.
And become the person they've been waiting for, starting today, not some distant future.
It's about empowering that first step, that internal declaration of who they already are.
And then, the exciting part, we connect that mindset to the modern tools and strategies, the Ryan Reynolds of the world.
Precisely. So to pick up on that bridge, that quantum leap.
Quantum physics, exactly. It's more metaphorical. It evokes that idea of like a single focused point having a massive, maybe disproportionate ripple effect.
Ah, okay, the ripple effect.
Yeah, and the transformation he talks about is fascinating. By assuming the identity of the successful communicator as the successful business owner, by really embodying your message and the desired outcome, living from that end result, you essentially become a human broadcast tower.
A human broadcast tower. I like that metaphor.
It's powerful, isn't it? Hayes suggests this internal state isn't just a feeling. It naturally influences the world around you, subtly, powerfully. It starts drawing your ideal audience, your ideal clients to you, rather than you having to chase them down constantly. It's a shift in presence, in energy, that comes from that internal assumption.
Okay, a human broadcast tower. But let's be real. Everyone's trying to broadcast something online these days, right? Everyone wants to be a thought leader and influencer. How do you make sure your broadcast, fueled by this assumed identity, actually cuts through? What stops it from just being more noise? And that's where Hayes' system provides concrete, modern tools, including those used by people like Ryan Reynolds, as Mike just highlighted.
He understood that even the strongest internal assumption needs a way to get out there effectively in today's crowded space.
Right, you need a transmitter.
Exactly. So he developed some specific strategies and tools. First off, there's Gamma.
Gamma, what's that stand for?
It stands for Guided AI Media, Marketing, Advertising, and Communication. Now, think of Gamma not just as like another AI writing tool. It's designed to be more of an interpretive AI partner.
Interpretive? How so?
It helps you take that internal feeling of your assumed reality, that high vibration conviction, and translate it into really sharp, persuasive language.
Language that resonates on an emotional level. So Gamma helps encode your broadcast perfectly for your audience, making sure the message doesn't just get seen, but truly felt.
Okay, so Gamma helps turn the feeling into words that land. That's interesting. What's next after refining the message?
Right. Once Gamma helps you nail that message, the next tool is media cards. These aren't your average business cards.
They could be physical or digital, but they act as like strategic anchors for your assumed reality.
Anchors.
Yeah. When someone gets your media card, typically with a QR code, it doesn't just link to a generic website.
It sends them to a specific pre-engineered experience. Maybe it's a powerful video showing your success, or an interactive case study, or a landing page that instantly conveys your core value proposition, the end result you've assumed.
It cuts through the clutter.
So the media card is like a direct portal to the proof of your assumed success, a physical link to the digital broadcast.
Precisely. It makes it tangible, immediate. And then there's the idea of the perpetual media machine, which is also a core part of what Ryan Reynolds leverages.
Perpetual media machine. Sounds ambitious. What's that?
That's really the goal of the whole system. To set things up so your core message, amplified by gamma and delivered via things like media cards, just keeps working for you automatically.
Okay.
It's about creating this flow where interactions aren't just one-offs. The machine keeps nurturing leads, reinforcing your value, consistently broadcasting that assumed reality, even when you're not actively pushing it.
It automates the broadcast from your internal state. This is key to AIDRTV, which Mike mentioned.
Wow, automated the broadcast.
Yeah, hey guys, it's Mike again with another AI Audible. We are focusing not only on the mental perpetual media machine, but really on AI automation as another way to keep things going.
Mike, that's such a fantastic point and a perfect reminder for our listeners.
Absolutely. Thanks for jumping in with that AI Audible. It really brings it all together.
You're right. It's not just about the internal mental perpetual media machine.
It's also about leveraging the power of AI automation to keep that message alive and thriving.
Much like the enduring legacies of figures like Johnny Carson and Neville Goddard themselves.
Their influence, their broadcast, continues to resonate. And in today's world, AI helps us achieve that longevity and reach.
It's the practical application of that internal shift we've been talking about.
So the automation part ensures your assumed reality isn't just a fleeting thought.
It's a constantly active, measurable force in the external world.
And that's really where the quantum reach code becomes so vital.
Right. Because that's the master key, the thing that integrates all of this.
Your unique, dynamic media signature, your news story, always alive.
It's often represented by a specific QR code you generate.
But as you said earlier, it's not static.
It links to an evolving narrative, optimized by gamma, that is your news story.
The story of your success, the reality you've assumed to be true.
So when someone scans your quantum reach code, they hit this perfectly crafted digital experience.
An experience that instantly communicates your value, your conviction.
It's the tangible proof of your internal shift, the digital handshake.
And the anchor for your human broadcast tower kept in perpetual motion by AI automation.
Okay, that really clicks now. The quantum reach code is the direct link.
The tangible manifestation of that internal assumption.
Designed for sharing in the modern world, making it a continuous broadcast.
It's where the inner work meets outer action, supercharged by technology.
Exactly. That's precisely where the magic is supposed to happen.
Every time you share that code, you're not just giving information.
You're actively reinforcing and broadcasting the reality you've assumed is true.
It's where, as Mike Hayes puts it, the internal practice of the law of assumption meets the external action of the quantum reach code.
Your mindset fuels the message. And the message, powered by these tools and AI, creates your market.
It's this integrated loop, very much like the strategies Mike Hayes highlights and how Ryan Reynolds leverages them.
So for someone trying to grow their business, the implication is huge.
It means consistently communicating your assumed value through your inner state, and these outer tools isn't just a tactic.
It's the actual lifeblood of the business. It's how you shape your market reality.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's an ongoing, intentional act.
Which brings us back to the how.
How do you actually start embedding this living from the end idea into your daily life?
Right. Because the theory is great, the tool's powerful, but it all starts with that internal shift.
And you mentioned Hayes lays out a simple but disciplined daily practice.
Aimed at making this real in about 30 days.
He does. He boils down Goddard's methods into a really practical 3-part daily discipline.
Very straightforward.
Okay, break it down first. What's the daily routine?
All right. Part 1, morning assumption. First thing when you wake up.
Before you even get out of bed, spend a few minutes just soaking in the feeling of your wish already being a fact.
Really marinate in that quiet, calm satisfaction of it being done.
This sets your internal compass for the day.
Okay, start the day in the feeling. Got it. Part 2.
Part 2, midday vigilance. Throughout your day, you need to be watchful, vigilant.
When those old doubts, fears, or contradictory thoughts pop up and you consciously refuse to entertain them.
Don't fight them. Just gently redirect your attention back to that feeling of fulfillment.
Even for a moment, it's about managing your inner dialogue constantly.
Refusing to entertain doubt, return to the feeling. Okay. And the final part.
Part 3, evening revision. Before sleep, another key time for the subconscious.
You mentally replay scenes from your day, and this is the clever part, you revise them.
You edit them in your imagination to match how they would have happened if your assumption were true all along.
Whoa, rewriting the past.
In your mind, yes. If a meeting felt off, replay it as a success.
If someone seemed dismissive, imagine them being receptive.
Hay says this is literally how you retrain your brain, overriding old patterns with the new assumed reality.
Morning assumption, midday vigilance, evening revision. That sounds intense, but powerful.
A very intentional way to live.
What's the end goal of doing this consistently?
The ultimate outcome, the big prize, according to Hayes and Goddard, is a massive shift in your identity.
You literally stop being the person who's always wishing, hoping, striving from that feeling of lack.
Right.
And you become the person who simply assumes they already are that successful, fulfilled person.
Your desires aren't out there anymore. They're just part of who you are now.
It's described as a declaration you make to yourself, not a request you make to the universe.
A declaration, not a request. And that really drives home that core idea again, doesn't it?
The feeling of wanting implies lack.
The feeling of having implies fulfillment. So this whole daily practice is just
learning to live consistently in that state of already having it.
that's the essence of it. And maybe the most profound thought to leave everyone with comes directly from this law.
Think about it.
The version of you that felt powerless, the one always looking outside for proof before allowing yourself to believe.
That version of you was also just a product of your imagination.
You assumed limitation, and so you experienced it.
Wow. Okay, so if that powerless version was just an assumption,
That leads to a huge provocative question for you listening right now.
if you hold this creative power, if your imagination truly sculpts your life,
Who are you going to choose to be starting today?
you really are the one you've been waiting for.
What reality will you dare to assume right now?
Definitely something to think about. That's all for today's deep dive.
Guys, this is really meant for any business networkers who are struggling to get their message out there. We have created Quantum Reach Networking. And one of the cores of Quantum Reach Networking is our brand new TV shopping magazine, on which we have Ryan Reynolds himself, the man, the myth, the legend, who Time Magazine named as one of the top 100 entrepreneurs of the year because he's created businesses worth $14 billion with a B. And it all comes down to his focus on AIDRTV. And that is why we created TV Shopping Magazine. Because of Ryan Reynolds and the Mountain TV agency partners, the cost of television has dropped dramatically because of AI and connected TV. And you can be on TV right in one local zip code, which works perfectly with any business networker who loves local networking. Focus on your community and avoid excessive centralization. You want to bring money back into your community. Focus on the community that you love where you can have a real impact. So that's what AIDRTV is, and the leader in AIDRTV is the Mountain Agency Partners, of which Ryan Reynolds himself is the creative director. So I hope if you're a business networker, you will want to learn more. If you want to sell things, go to tvshoppingmagazine.com. If you want to learn more about Quantum Reach Networking, go to quantumreachnetworking.com and learn more about the Quantum Reach Code. Thanks for listening to me, podcaster Mike Hayes, along with my AI co-host. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you soon. We want to help you learn about AI and the future of you in life, in love, and in business. Thanks for joining us. Again, I'm podcaster Mike Hayes.